Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That's white noise sound with sunset.
Of course it is.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's set
You'll
me up
get
for the
used to
day.
this, Alan.
Yeah.
That's got my blood, partly flowing. There's some coagulation I'm sensing, but only on the left-hand side. We'll see how it goes. So, well, we think we should not move on without saying that Andy is now out. Last week we were
Is he?
celebrating.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Oh, yeah, it's about time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe now we can stop shaving and stop doing the whole macho thing. Yeah, I've been watching it, as our regular listeners will know, just to try and work out how much the mom hates the girlfriend and vice versa. And there was a moment when they were actually speaking on the coverage yesterday.
Oh, how disappointing.
No, but they weren't speaking. They were speaking the way... I don't know if you've ever seen any of that footage of Churchill speaking to Joseph Stalin at the Yalta conference. It had that kind of feel. I don't want to speak to you, but, you know, I suppose some good will come out of it overall. It was very much like that.
I'm just going to write that down as the clips to look at on YouTube that are directly related to this show.
Yeah,
points of reference are always so varied.
Oh, Yalta. I like to think Yalta's going to crop up on a regular basis. It was Roosevelt, Churchill and Stalin got together to try and sort out... What were they... I think what they called the Hitler problem.
Yeah. It was a bit of a concern.
It was, yeah. It completely got out of hand.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was... I'll tell you what I've noticed about Wimbledon as well, is that... oh, God, I sound like an American stand-up comedian. Say, you ever on a plane and... was you ever on a plane? Shut up! No, the double... Every now and again, when you're watching a proper match, they'll cut to the doubles on what they call an outside court, or a
Yes.
court 84 we're going to go to now.
I call it non-VIP court. I don't like them.
Well, I'm starting to think that the centre court is sort of at the centre of the English, maybe even the British tennis playing universe. And as you spread out, I think like court 24 is probably in Oldham or something, because it's always like there's 8 people watching doubles, and there's people in Primark T-shirts. Playing.
And a horrible sort of canvas scoreboard. Oh,
Yeah.
I hate those courts.
A canvas scoreboard. I like the sound of that. That's brilliant. Yeah, the one I saw, I think it was tarpaulin. It was over. It was tarpaulin over an old motorbike and sidecar, and they chalked on it. That was the scores. It is. I like the fact it covers the whole tennis in universe, Wimbledon. Anyway.
Frank, before we move on...
Have I said this is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily and Alan?
Oh, I hope they've worked that out.
Oh, no, but I don't like to... if I don't do that, I don't get a chance to go...
Good morning, listeners.
In case you don't know, Alan Cochrane, you see, was mistaken in the first week by one of our listeners as Alan Cockrell. He thought that was his name. Like a crazy stage name.
I'd like to think it was just one. The emails were awash with people calling me Cockrell.
Yes. I think it's your strutting manner.
Yes.
He said, good morning, listeners. I like that. It was quite local radio. It was good.
Yeah. Well, we are essentially local radio, let's face it.
Frank, we've had a text in.
Oh.
Yes, it happens.
Hold on, let me get settled in my chair.
Good morning, Mr. Frank, Alan, and...
Was it from Basil Brush? Can't leave Basil with his head in a vice. Basil, Go on, carry on.
And Uber Babe Emily. He said it. His words, not mine.
Uber Babe
Yes,
Emily.
I could have not read it out.
People that use the word Uber for emphasis.
I look forward to the sound effect for your nickname.
A quick tippy-tappy on the keyboard, he says, to let you know... Frank, don't look like that. I can see your face contorting.
Is it from Nicholas Parsons?
You know. Frank was the subject of a quiz question the other day, albeit on a rival radio station. Can we say which one it was, Frank? Or shall I not say? Anyway, the question was, what do Frank, Shirley Bassey, Paul McCartney, Pablo Picasso and Robin Williams all have in common?
It's truth.
I like the way your manager's thinking about it like he's on a panel show.
Hold on, Shirley, Paul McCartney, Robin Williams, me, Pablo Picasso. Did we used to be good? And we're not as good anymore?
That'd be harsh.
No.
On a rival radio station.
Shirley Bassey still got it.
OK, fair enough. Thanks for picking me up on that element of it. Well, I don't know, but shall I play some music?
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that, and I'm part of the question. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
But now won't people email in with the answer, and then we're basically stealing another guy's quiz?
It wouldn't be the first time, Alan.
Presumably it's all done, isn't it? It's all done and
Yes.
dusted, this quiz. They don't drag these things out on local... I mean, they might have closed down. If it's capital, they could go at any moment. OK, well, so that's it. That's the question. Pablo Picasso, etc., etc.
Yeah.
What have we got in common? We're not left-handed. No, I'd know if I was left-handed.
No.
I'd have spotted that, wouldn't I?
By now.
You're not left-handed.
I'd have picked up on that by now, surely.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Are we all gay icons?
Oh. I thought
a
you were just
quiz
asking
question.
randomly. All three of us, you mean? I like to think I am.
Yeah, well, I think you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm... Yeah, I think I have a foot in both camps.
No. Do you want to know the answer?
Yes, I do want to know. Do you
There's
have...
a bit of you wants to string it out for longer. And see
No,
if you
no,
can
no.
get it, isn't
Well,
there?
I'd like to
So-
get it, but I don't want to be self-indulgent. And you got no ideas, Alan?
No, but I can see how you'd have misgivings about having a quiz about yourself last for too long.
No, exactly.
The accusations
Exactly.
of self-indulgence
Yeah. Yes, it's the Frank Skinner quiz with Frank Skinner.
on the Frank Skinner show.
Yes. OK.
Okay. Well, the person who texted in, he calls himself Larry Saunders. I don't think that's his real name.
No, probably
But he
not.
says at first he thought that they'd all been voted Rear of the Year, until he realised it was Robin Williams, not Robbie. Anyhow, the answer turned out to be, drum roll please, they
Hold
all
on,
learned...
I might have a drum roll. Let me just have a look at my... I've got a fanfare.
Good morning, listeners.
I'm loving that.
They all learned to swim later in life.
Well, that's a lie, because I haven't learned to swim.
Oh, really?
I have yet to learn to swim.
So the question's
for
wrong,
me,
the quiz is wrong.
Yeah, what radio station is it?
This is BBC Radio 2, Tim
Well,
Smith.
to me, that puts them in the same category as the Blue Peter animal name, the British Comedy Award,
Yes. Yeah.
Farrago. I'm
You-
calling it a Farrago. Stand back. I've said it.
You say we pay.
TV fake
Yes.
brouhaha.
I have yet to learn.
Your manager's texting someone. I think he's trying to get some money out of him.
Yeah, so if there's big money involved in that quiz, I'm afraid that they won't be on the BBC. I'd have thought they'd have won 2 tickets to the last My Family record. But they've won it. They've won it erroneously. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, if you want to text us, I should have said this when we said, why don't you text us with the answers? Well, it's 8, 12, 15. And I can't swim, so, so what? Put me down in the company of Shirley Bassey and...
Pablo Picasso.
Paul McCartney, of course, is... he used to live in Brighton, and someone who lived nearby told me he used to go on the beach with his little tiny Speedo briefs on. Tiny.
Thanks for that insight.
Yeah, just picture that, if you will.
Well, we are.
A slight vapour trail of purple in the water from the hair. I won't say what else was left on the beach when him and his wife went out to swim. I'll tell you what I have noticed. The first time I saw it frightened me to death. But, you get used to it. I thought it'd been washed up. Do you get sharks in Brighton? Well, you do, but they're selling cars. I heard about some people who buy any cars. I can't remember where I heard that now. Someone was shouting about it, almost tunefully. Anyway, I'll tell you what has struck me. You remember when the Olympic logo came out, when it was revealed? It got a lot of stick.
It did.
Oh, yeah.
And it became a bit of a comedian's paradise to make jokes about
Yes.
the Olympic logo, and it's all seemed to be, what difference does it make? It's just it's a terrible, one of the worst pieces of design I think ever done. I'd put high-rise housing above the Olympic logo. But anyway, I've noticed now, I've seen it this last week or two on lapel badges and stuff, and starting to appear, and I've realised what I thought was just a silly mistake. As we near the Olympics, it's now. It's not that I don't like it anymore. It disgusts me.
Oh, it's very strong.
I'd
Frank.
say the Olympic logo, and this is not an overstatement. I'd say it's ruined the Olympics for me.
Really?
I haven't put in for any tickets. I don't even want to watch it. I have no interest. The logo has killed the only British Olympics that'll probably happen in my lifetime.
Really? That's strong, you feel?
And I did a magic eye thing with it the other day, and I looked at the logo, and I don't know if you look at it, it looks like there's two halves, one identified as London and one identified as the Olympics, and it looks like the London one is being assaulted from behind by the Olympics
Careful.
one. Yes, well, I mean assaulted. And that's what's happened, I think. The Olympics, London Olympics, everything has been... I can't tell you how upset I am by the whole thing. I hate the Olympics now. I'm moving out for one reason, and one reason only. The logo. As if it won't be poignant enough, their Olympics, because the home of the Olympics is Greece, and of course by that stage Greece will be closed down. It'll be all boarded up, Greece. It'll be like our price.
Well, that's true.
And then we're going to put up with... I'm sorry to go on, I know it's a bit out of date, the logo thing, but we're going to see more and more of it. And I'm going to make the Olympics a no mention zone on here for that reason.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah. If you don't make a stance on design, what can you make a stance on?
This is Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
Oh, they come over as all folky, and then they put swearing.
I just wonder if that was a swear.
Yeah.
God.
The swearers.
What is it with these people?
I thought we just had a bad signal.
Yeah.
Category C as well, that.
Yeah, exactly. That was, just so you know, to blame, that was Mumford and Sons, Little Lion Man. Is that Norman Collier? Do you remember Norman Collier?
Yeah,
British
yeah.
comic. You say,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
yes, I've heard this after... And everyone's been... anyone listening who's just tuning in now, I think there's something wrong with my receiver. Do they say receiver anymore?
I think they do anyway.
No, OK. Well, then maybe old people tune in. You know.
Please replace the handset. Frank, we had a text in 073. Would you have preferred something in Comic Sans, Frank? Now, that's a reference to the Olympic logo. Do you know what Comic Sans is? I'll tell you.
Comics hands.
No, I know a lot
Comics
about those.
Yeah, I know you do.
Comic Sans is a font, Frank, and I'll tell you exactly what font it is. Do you know? Remember TFI Friday? Remember that?
Oh, I remember it. Well, yeah.
Remember it? Man in the polka dot shirt, glasses. That was the font.
U2, giant-headed U2 dancing, and people at a bar trying to prove they were having a nice time, even though their eyes suggested emptiness and death.
Yes.
Carry on, yeah. I remember it.
Well, do you remember the titles?
Of course.
Well, that was in Comic Sans.
Oh, with that sort of like dots and bits around it.
Slightly, I'd call it a larky font.
Oh, yeah, it's larky.
Yes.
No one's denying that.
Cold Feet, the programme Cold Feet, also Comic Sans, I believe.
But there are occasionally, like, Guardian articles about how it's used for inappropriate stuff, so it ends up on the odd NHS leaflet about something
Oh,
quite
is that
serious.
right?
Yeah,
Oh, no, you don't want that, do you?
yeah.
No.
Don't put Comic Sans on a leaflet about,
You don't want chlamydia
IBS.
in Comic Sans. Chlamydia in Comic Sans? No.
What again?
Yeah, God. Not another course. Anyway, that's enough of that. I think you know, I'm all for talking about font on commercial radio, but I think minute and a half tops.
Yep, I think you're right.
I think that's what the radio handbook says.
The big siren just went off, didn't it?
Yeah, we've already done the Yalta conference. God, it's going well this morning.
I'm sorry it ruined the Olympics for you, though.
Yeah, I ranted about the Olympic logo, something that was pertinent maybe a year and a half ago, and it was really... I mean, what's going on this morning? I'm sorry, it'll get better. Just trust me, will you? Yes, I'm talking to you. And get out of bed. Oh, yeah, so the Olympic logo, anyway, as I say, has ruined the whole Olympics for me. And I think that can happen. Sometimes tiny things can spoil things that you'd normally love. Take, for example, Later with Jules Holland.
Yeah.
Has been spoilt for me.
Why?
Well, by Jules Holland. But not just his essence. I mean, he's got a bigger. And he's got bigger. He's expanded in a way. I always thought of him as a very thin man. And now the jacket looks... You know, you consider buttons are...
SpongeBob SquarePants.
It's going... No, it's not really like that. It's a bit Tim Burton, Tweedledum, Tweedledee type of...
okay.
If they're in it, I think they're looking like... We won't go into that. Don't text me, leave it. If you text today, by the way, it has to be in Comic Sans. That's the rule. What was it? Yeah, so now I watch him and I feel sort of bloated watching him because he looks like I'm going, oh, and I can't watch it anymore. And he's a great, he's done.
It's those
great for
little
music.
things.
It's
Do you
an
know? I call it
entertaining
the Live and Let Die syndrome because that's one of my favourite songs of all time.
Yes.
And then it's ruined by that horrible cod reggae bit in the middle, which sounds like Rasta Mouse. I can't bear it.
What does it matter to you?
Oh, don't even say it. It's horrible.
Oh, I see. That's ruined
I
that.
like that bit. That
No,
song.
hate it.
It's good we're all different. I had a thing recently where we went on a motorhome holiday and I had to empty the... How quickly we forget. It was an outing. It was me, my wife and our little boy, and I had to empty the chemical toilet, and there's something... I mean, it's not a pleasant task at the best of times, but there's something in the chemical toilets that smells like Bloody Mary. And so as I was tipping it out, I thought, I'm never going to enjoy a Bloody Mary ever again, because it's always going to remind me of a chemical toilet on a motorhome. Not that I frequently have Bloody Marys, but...
No, that's... I wonder what that was. Could it be a Bloody Mary that had been poured down the...
Poured, in inverted commas.
Yeah, exactly.
No, there had been no Bloody Marys go down.
I find that.
I think it's something in the sachet.
Well, David Essex was a guest on here once, and he said Chinaman, and I can't even watch EastEnders now. I can't look him in the eye. To me, his entire musical career, retrospectively, was somehow marred. I could see him sinking a sampan in some sort of World War II film.
Frank on radio. Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
Like the ice cream van. Get me a Cornish movie. That was Little Dragon with Ritual Union. I really like that. It's atmospheric.
That's great. I have another thing about little things that ruin the big things. I find it very difficult to take in the news if the newsreader's got an overexcited mouth. You know, some people just have an overly mobile... I can't listen to a word he's saying, I'm just watching that mouth. I can't think of which newsreader I'm speaking about, but you know what I mean.
If you lived in an Islamic country, that would never be a problem.
No, true enough, but I don't.
No, but if it really gets to you, it's an option. That's what I'm saying. Because it'd be either a beard or some sort of veil covering that area.
Quite easily, yeah. I had a bit of a result after the show last week. I was...
Well, hold on a minute. Hold on.
How's your wife and child?
No, it was a much more modest result than that.
Oh, thank
Wait till I
goodness
tell you this. I was staying at my brother's flat, and when I'd finished here, I went for a little browse in the local charity shops by him.
Did you?
Yeah, and I have a thing in charity shop. Years ago, I toured with somebody who said if you're wavering about buying something in a charity shop, you should buy it anyway and just consider it a donation. And that way, if you don't like the thing, it doesn't really matter.
Well, you can always take it back to the charity shop.
Oh, you could just give it back to them.
Yeah.
That's what David Baddiel said to you. Oh, no, it wasn't.
It's a bit like when every now and again a really beautiful woman seems to spend some time with a loser and you think, oh, it's not really costing her anything, she's just giving him a day in the sun, really. You know what I mean?
It's a form of charity work.
Yeah. It's a donation, isn't it?
That's something he'll remember forever.
It's a donation to the Mingers, as it were.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been donating very generously.
But anyway, I bought a double cassette. I've got an old car. And it has a 6 CD multi-changer in the boot as well, but one of the joys of the car is that it has a cassette, which means that I can...
It's a crossover vehicle, isn't it?
It's 10 years old. But it's the cassette thing is really handy, because you can get these things where you can plug your iPod into the car cassette. Brilliant.
Well, I mean, that's a fabulous example of a marriage between old and new technology.
It's really great. However, my point being that I bought a double cassette for £2. I've only listened to one side of the four.
I've got a Steam iPod, which is a similar. So, what is this cassette you've bought?
It's Tom Lehrer live.
Oh right,
yeah, the American satirist.
Humorist. Let's call him a humorist.
Call him a humorist.
Yeah, fabulous.
And I can't tell you how happy I am at having bought it, because it was one of those things of going, I would never buy this online. I wouldn't seek it out. But now it's here, and I'm considering it a donation to the cancer research shop.
Yeah.
And I'm really pleased by it. Genuinely, it lifted my day last
And it's
Saturday.
operational?
It's fully working. I was half expecting a chewed up tape. I know that's what you're thinking.
Yeah, but then you have the excuse for the twirled biro. in the centre, in the racket. Was they call it the racket? Sprocket? Sprocket? What is it called?
Sprocket
Asking the
sounds
producer.
right, yeah.
I'm presuming. Oh my God, my language has broken down. Help! There's blood coming out of my ears. If only I could swim. Is it called? What's it called on the middle of a cassette, Emma? What's the good of having a producer? They know what the middle of a cassette is called.
Emma's looking like she started in this
Didn't
when
they do it
mini
at
discs
college?
were around us.
Yeah, oh, mini discs, they were great, weren't they?
For about 5 minutes.
You could twirl them in between your fingers like a
Now, Frank,
cowboy with a coin.
Frank, a sprocket is a profiled wheel with teeth that meshes with a chain track or other perforated material. Does that sound right?
Yeah, you are. I know that. Anyway, it's a bargain.
It's a bargain.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to inaugurate a texting.
Yeah.
What about this then? What bargains are you most proud of? What about that?
I'll try and contribute something.
Yeah, I shouldn't think you're a big... I'm not keen on the charity shops.
Oh, really?
You're not, Frank?
I always fear that the dead will come back for their stuff.
I quite like that. I
No, no, I don't want anyone, saying that was my shawl.
We only have this extra. This is Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
Tiddle tom 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 tee tom. That was One Day Like This. Elbow.
Frank,
Do
we've
you
had
think
some...
they've got a joint account? Rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
Oh, elbow joint.
Yeah, got it.
The end of that song where they say "throw those curtains wide" always reminds me of years ago. I had a flat that overlooked some gardens, and I opened the curtains one day to see somebody very carefully arrange a deck chair and then sit in it and fall through it. It was one of the happiest days of my life. They weren't hurt. Nobody got hurt.
No.
It just cheered me up.
Fabulous. So there's that. There's a £2 double cassette. It's the little things in life,
Really
isn't
is
it?
the little
Well,
things.
Frank, talking of that £2 double cassette, we've had some texts in other bargains other people have had.
People love a bargain.
I love it. Not me so much. 149, a leather belt that I bought my boyfriend for £1, which he calls his dead man's belt.
Lovely.
I really like that.
That's what is that now? I Need a Black Strap. There's a Fall song about him not being able to find a belt in this flat, and he says, "I need a black strap," whilst talking about his. There you go. That is a bargain for
That
a
is
belt.
a bargain. 499, Best Buy to charity shop, a collection of 10 classic audiobooks. Dickens, Austen spelt a bit strangely, for £20.
Well, they're audio.
Yeah.
That's the trouble with audio. It doesn't help your spelling.
In fairness, they were originally £145. She got them for 20. I was giddy. Love the show, and the new boy has settled in well. Amanda from Ipswich.
Nice.
You see,
Thank
the
you,
thing
Amanda.
is, I wouldn't pay £20 for anything from a... If I went into a charity shop and they had an E-Type Jaguar in working order, I wouldn't pay £20. I don't want anything that requires a note in a charity shop. I will only... It has to be coinage.
You're a monster. I'm shocked to find this side to you.
I got 6 coasters from the cat rescue for 50p. What about that?
Is this true?
Absolutely true.
Well, there you go then. See, you love a bargain too.
I
You
mean,
love a coaster,
and
that
I
much we know.
Oh, I love a coaster, but I saw it as a donation, as you say,
Yeah.
because the cat rescue are marked. I mean, those cats will guarantee to get a stretcher to you in 40 minutes if you're injured on a mountainside. They come up. Obviously, they're great climbers.
They can scamper, can't
Yeah,
they? In an
and they come in
emergency.
the little small harnesses they have. And catnip they bring, which personally I find sour to the taste, but it can give you that kind of energy boost. And apparently you can't trust them with a Kendall mint cake. But it's what they can train them to do nowadays.
Frank, another bargain on 208 the other week. Times were tough, so I was looking around the local supermarket for bargains. As to do a shower gel, full size, for 8p a bottle.
No.
What?
Now, I was concerned it would strip my skin to the bone, but on the contrary, it left me clean and sweet smelling.
I just can't see the break even on that. 8 pence a bottle.
What that is, that's a lost leader they've got there. It's a lost leader. That's to get you into the shops.
When I hear
Sleazy
stuff like that, I
supermarket
just think this is unsustainable. This capitalism business, it's unsustainable.
Well, no, they've gone to. I mean, are we living in? Are we in Weimar Germany?
8 pence.
Well, I think, people say that this great symbol of optimism is the glass half full, is what people always say. Mm-hmm. I always think the great symbol of optimism is anybody who goes into a charity shop and buys a jigsaw. Because they are so universally incomplete, charity shop jigsaws. I think that the people from the charity shop take a couple of pieces out just for continuity.
Yeah, it's the world order of things.
I'm guessing that at the centre, I imagine there's an enormous charity shop nerve centre. I'm guessing there is... in the basement, the whole floor is covered with this horribly mismatched jigsaw, which is the pieces they've taken out of jigsaws over the years.
That's great. Anyone that buys a jigsaw in a charity shop is one of life's innocents.
Totally. Totally. What you're liable to end up with is 3 or 4 pieces from different jigsaws that don't go at all, which I believe is how they put together the Olympic logo. And my end is my beginning.
This is Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Who's that at the end? Anyway, that was Too Much Too Young specials. Do you want to hear the specials? Oh, I'd love to hear the specials. Thanks very much. Right, we've got a doc thing. No, I thought you were going to... What would you... OK. So, welcome back. This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily and Alan.
And we've got quite a few bargains coming in from the listeners. Turns out there are more thrifty brigades than you two. And I don't mean
you two. No, who don't pay any tax. You don't get any thriftier than that.
That's pretty thrifty. I'm not sure they're browsing their charity shops for jigsaws. Somebody's put, I bought a jigsaw from a charity shop. Not only was there a bit missing, it somehow seemed worse because it was a corner piece. Innocent or just gullible, I think. Yeah. Gullible. That
could be wedged, though. I have to say, I once had a corner piece wedged in an inside flap of the box. That might be worth another look.
Yes, it's worth checking.
I hope they haven't thrown the rest away.
Oh, yeah. In a fit of pique.
What about this? I've got a framed jigsaw, West Bromwich Albion, 1969.
Oh, that's good.
And there's a piece of that missing. It's gone from within the frame.
Oh. Well, is it shaken down? Is that what's happened?
No, it hasn't. That was my thought. I looked for
transit.
I thought Ian Collard looking a bit lumpy. Could it be? But no. But no.
Somebody has texted in saying that they got reduced meat from their supermarket, like £90 worth for £40, and it's all in the freezer.
I bet that's lovely, that meat. Can't wait to try some of that.
£90 worth of meat? What is it? Was it a lion house?
Someone on the Atkins.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Atkins.
I'll get their number. I might get on with them.
Oh, no.
That's
How'd you get it home?
Occasionally I catch myself at the till, just everything in my basket's got orange stickers on it, reduced, eat me now, and so I don't even know. Absent-mindedly I've just picked up everything that's discounted.
It's good that you're thrifty in Broken Britain.
I used to shop like that in the old days. You used to get stickers in the Harborne supermarket where there used to be stickers that said things like "eat within 20 minutes." It was...
That sounds like something that's really on the turn.
That's something that is nearly poison, I think. That's what the sticker said. Nearly poison. Eat within 20 minutes. God, I mean, if there was a long queue at the checkout, you were dicing with death.
Frank, can we discuss my favourite story of the week? Could you guess what that might be? There have been a few this week.
Yes, I bet it's the mother-in-law from hell, isn't it?
How much do I love that mother-in-law from hell? Carolyn Bourne. I know the names of all the players. I've committed them to memory.
Yeah, it is very much your story, I have to say.
Heidi Withers and Freddie Bourne. What do you think? I mean,
Heidi Withers, I didn't know that.
That was the bride-to-be's
name.
Yeah. She's a renowned grower of pinks, is her profession, Carolyn Bourne. But the main story was obviously this email that was circulated, and Heidi, by mistake, sent it to a friend, and then it got circulated everywhere. And she said some quite rude things in it. Did
We
you
should
read
say
it?
that they're going to get married, Freddie and
Yeah.
Heidi, and she's not the mother. What's she
Stepmother,
got?
you're right, Frank.
She's the stepmother. Stay out of it.
Yeah.
Hasn't she read any fairy tales, this woman? Already, in being a stepmother, you're dallying with wickedness.
Yeah. The stepmother PR is in overdrive right now, isn't
Exactly. So she sent... no, I don't... Who did she send? She sent the email. The stepmother sent the email to the...
To Heidi.
Right, which is the... OK.
Yeah, saying that she was. She said she was guilty of being staggeringly uncouth, and there were a list of grievances she had. They included things such as, for example, she said, "You do not stay in bed late in a household that rises early." She said that's very ill-mannered. You asked for second helpings. You started eating before everyone else had.
I did that at my Auntie Doreen's once. What I did is I left the table without saying, "May I leave the table?" It's a tradition I'd never come across before. In our house, we didn't do that. I
Didn't
just
have a
walked
table
away
in
from
your
the
house.
I was called back. I mean, it was Smarties in custard. It wasn't like it was a grand...
Smarties in custard.
Oh, have you ever had Smarties in custard?
I have not.
They leave a
who eats that?
smear. If you move one across the surface with a spoon, they leave a coloured smear.
Frank,
Like a
that's like
shooting
a
star.
clown's diet. Who eats that?
Clown.
She was a clown, Auntie Doreen. We never got home. The car exploded.
You do wonder what clowns eat until now, don't you? That's great.
I wonder
That's what
why
clowns
clowns eat. Yeah. And do you want a drink of water with that? Yes, I will. And you give them a cup with just glitter in it. Oh, no. Poor clowns. Well, we'll come back to this.
Okay.
It's a horrible, in many ways, it's a horrible story of family feuding and the like.
This is Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
That was Coaches and Horses by The Fall.
Nice.
Seaman looks through a leaded glass window and sees in the street what he would have seen if he'd looked through that window when it was originally put in. You with me?
So, Frank,
It's got a H.G. Wells feel to it, the whole thing. Yes, sorry.
we were talking earlier about my favourite story of the week, which, just to remind everyone, was this. It's a sort of mother-in-law from hell story, or stepmother-in-law from hell, as you pointed out. She sent her future daughter-in-law a very vicious email.
Why did she send it, though?
It was a
Because-
dressing down, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was a dressing down.
She'd been to stay with them, and she was just saying, "You came to stay at," and she mentioned the name of the property. And she just accused her. She said she was just not a very nice house guest. She also said, "You plan to get married in a castle. This is brash celebrity behaviour, and you shouldn't get married in a castle unless you own it." That's what she said.
Said it was vulgar.
Yeah.
I actually went out with someone whose family owned a castle.
Did you?
Yeah. And they were very down-to-earth, nice people. I remember someone got onto the... there was a lake at the castle. Someone got in and they didn't steal the rowing boat. They stole the oars from the rowing boat. Can you imagine? Who would do that? What's the point in that? And we were talking what they're going to do with it. My theory was that they were the sort of people who mix salad on the floor. And they didn't want to stoop. So,
Passing giants.
yeah. Or maybe
huge
they had
salad bowl and
another thought. Maybe they had a ping-pong net, but no table. So they had to play table tennis on the floor, as it were, with the oars. You see, that's one of the problems of anyone here who's thinking of getting a castle. Anyone who's listening in, who's umming and ahhing about the purchase of a castle. You have land with it, and local people think they can just wander across and take stuff. That's what goes on with a castle.
I inadvertently followed this woman's advice before the time, because we
Carolyn Bourne?
Yeah, we had a very modest wedding. There was only sort of very, very close family. So actually, our wedding we could have had on a bouncy castle had we fancied that.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have had that much gravitas. It was probably about the same amount.
Was it a white wedding you had?
No.
Okay. What? No wedding dresses in the Oxfam?
Our son was in attendance. I think it would have been inappropriate.
Oh,
for a
it's
white
what
wedding.
I call one of those, Frank.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
it's a conversation that got out of hand.
I went to the most frustrating wedding I've ever been to. I'm not counting my own. The most frustrating wedding was...
Although surely that was up there.
I went to my cleaner's wedding in Krakow.
Oh.
And she's Polish, my cleaner. And the wedding reception, it was a lovely occasion. The wedding reception was held at the local fire station.
Oh. Was she marrying a fireman?
No.
Oh.
But it's the only big building, really, in the town. And the frustration of being in a fire station with about 200 poles and not being able to do the joke at risk of offending someone. I felt I was tight. The whole clinched.
I honestly thought you were going to say the frustration of being at a wedding reception while the alarm kept going off.
No.
Or people keep barreling past and getting
that
in
never
there.
happened, actually. I don't know. I don't know if it was in use or not.
Perhaps they just had a no fire rule that day for everyone.
Difficult. I went to a humanist wedding, no religion.
They're meant to be nice, aren't they? It's not for
If
you.
you like no religion,
not
it's
for
like
you.
somebody sneezed. I had to bite my lip. Couldn't have any. Oh. Anyway, so this wedding it's still going on, isn't
Well,
it?
it's still going on.
I think.
But she said she also said that it had left their pet dog Bomber profoundly upset, depressed, and anxious.
Yeah,
This
what
is-
kind of house visitor
dog-
leaves a dog upset?
Yeah.
And also, what kind of person calls their dog Bomber? That'll be. I'll bet you any money that's some horrible in-family joke about Dresden. That'll be. I'll bet you that
Probably
dog is named after Bomber Harris. That's the kind of woman we're talking about, isn't it? Everyone in this story seems to be an unpleasant.
Yeah.
Every one of them is
Well, the
from
bride's
the planet
father.
Posh.
He's not. He's
Is he
definitely
not?
not from the planet Posh.
He looks posh to me. He said he's got a £450,000 house in Ledbury.
No, but he had East End pinstripes on, and he called her Miss Fancy Pants.
I like that nickname, Miss Fancy Pants. It's
Speaking of fancy pants, did you see Peter Crouch's wedding photos this week?
no, I didn't.
Yes, I did.
He's got quite sticky out knees on, surprisingly, and in the suit, in like a kind of loose trousered suit, the way the knees was visible, it looked like when you see a stilt man and you can see the toes.
Oh yeah.
The toes are pressing against the front of the trousers. He looked more like a stilt man than he's ever looked, Peter Crouch, which is saying something.
I suppose we don't often see him in long trousers.
No,
do we?
exactly.
Given as he is a footballer.
Especially those, they were like silky. They were very stilt man. Maybe maybe there's a shop. You get the outsized man shop for big people. Maybe there's a stilt shop where he gets his trousers. It's not out of the question.
Frank 131. When the oars got stolen, they should have bought a motorboat for the castle. Oh.
Well, it's all right saying that, but I remember, and this is absolutely true, sitting in the rowing boat, sans oars, and I sort of thought if I really clenched my arms and shoulders and concentrated, I could make the boat move by willpower. And I really kidded myself that it was going slightly forward, but I started to get aches in my whatever those things. Those things that come from your neck, and I don't know.
Oh.
We can look it up. Have you got Grey's Anatomy?
This is Frank Skinner
Absolute
Radio.
I'd like to go to a Killers gig with about a dozen gay men, and at the end of that song, go, "We are dancers," just to sort of settle there. I also really wish that James Corden would do a song with Blur.
Why?
Just a chance for the band to be called Cordon Bleu.
Oh, very good. Right.
Such a missed opportunity.
Ah.
There's
But,
a moment there where I was just thinking, when you said I'd like to go and see the Killers with a lot of gay men, I was thinking, right, okay.
Well, I would anyway.
Yeah,
that
I was
was a
going to say
joke.
the story can end there.
I would anyway, because they had a real laugh after and stuff, and you don't get all that macho posturing and stuff. And if I want to talk about musicals, I can talk about musicals, and who's going to stare at me?
It's a broad church, innit, on this show.
It is a broad church. But I haven't seen her on telly for ages.
Oh, Frank. Frank.
I'm a big fan of words.
Oh.
I am a wordsmith by trade, one could argue. And I came across a new one this week. It was a bloke was talking about Alex Sal. Now, how do you say Alex? Is it Salmond?
Oh, I always just say salmon. Salmon.
Salmond. Okay. It probably is that. I just say salmon. Scottish.
Yeah.
Seems to make sense. So, I heard he once got stuck in the Queen Mother's throat as well, but I mean, that could have been, I could have misread that.
Wasn't that Kipper?
Was that Kipper? I don't know.
I'm not familiar with his work.
But anyway, Alex Salmond, the head of the Scottish National...
SNP,
he was described... This bloke was
SNP.
Pardon?
No, I just wanted to be clear.
What did I say?
No, I don't know. I wanted to make sure I'd said it properly.
No, the SNP. And a bloke was talking about him, and he said, well, I think this will happen over a period of time. One thing about Alex Salmond, he's a gradualist.
Oh.
And I thought, that's brilliant, isn't it? He's a gradualist.
That translates being that he takes his time.
He does things gradually.
And I like to, so for example, with the music of the fall, I've been a gradualist.
There you go.
In terms of coming to appreciate them.
I was very much a suddenist.
Right.
I just banged. Yeah. Of course, Alex Salmond, when he's playing with his children, and he has to go, boo, he works his way up to it, and the whole thing doesn't work with them.
Right.
They're bored. He's a gradualist. But I like that very much indeed. Also, something I've noticed about Alex Salmond, am I wrong, or does he look like Todd Carty?
Oh, he does.
I mean...
Tucker Jenkins, yeah.
Well, not so much... I'd say more Mark Fowler, period.
Yeah. Late Mark Fowler.
Yeah. No, he recovered.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's not quite as bad as the Bill years, though.
No, well, I didn't watch him in the Bill. That was when he was in a dock in Asda. The Bill years. And I came across a good phrase as well. A bloke was saying that he got into a click trance. And a click trance is when you're on the internet and you just... what he talked about, which is a very good example of a click trance, is that he said, I was in a 20-minute hot or not click trance. Have you ever looked at hot or not?
No.
It's a picture of someone. Just people keep coming up and you click to say whether they're hot or not.
Wow.
And you can't get out of it. Once you're on the hot or not carousel, you're trapped.
Here we start. I love a new word. Well, I learnt a good new internet word the other day, which was pancake people. And though that means people who essentially gain all their knowledge from the internet, so their knowledge is spread very widely but immensely thin.
Oh, I see.
Pancake people.
So they like pancakes, I get it. Yeah.
No, they don't like pancakes. They are like... Oh, I see, yes, that's correct.
Sorry, you didn't hear my apostrophe R-E.
No, they get lost.
No, it is easily lost. It's the accent.
Yes. My wife told me that she heard a new word the other day, which was infradig. Are we aware of infradig?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm not.
It's apparently beneath one's dignity.
Hence me being aware of it.
Of course, it's one of those slightly superior... You can imagine that mother-in-law in the email saying, "Oh, this is infradig." Can't you? It's
and it means beneath. Why infra then? Does that mean beneath?
I couldn't break it
I
down.
suppose infrastructure. Oh, man, I mean, yes. Font, Latin, the Alta
there.
Conference.
It's all there, isn't
The
it?
clock's ticking, let's face it. Oh, hold on, I've just been passed a bit of paper. It says, what exciting new words have you discovered lately? It's not the sort of note, at school you used to get a note and it used to say things like, Susan Drury loves you. No, what exciting new words have you discovered? Like, it's the idea is that if the people at home, you, if you've discovered any new words, keep it clean, for God's sake. I'll tell you, speaking of the computer, you know that thing when you click on something and it doesn't do it immediately. There's like a little circle goes round
Wheel
and round.
of death, yeah.
The spinning wheel.
They call that rendering.
Oh,
Is that right?
And this bloke was talking about something, and he said, I don't know, he said, I've got the information, but I'm just rendering at the moment. Like, thinking it through, and I thought, I quite like that. I'm afraid I've chosen another song.
Okay.
We'll see how it goes. I think if Madness had been in the 1950s sci-fi classic Forbidden Planet, this is what the soundtrack would have sounded like.
Frank on
Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Frank, as to renowned ectomorphs, yourself and Alan...
Remind me again, does that mean we have spines?
No, that means you're skinny.
Oh,
Endomorph and ectomorph. Or are you ectomorphs?
I'm ecto, yeah. There's meso as well.
Don't exclude Frank.
Mesomorphs.
Yeah. The bigger people tend to be mesomorph.
Okay.
How dare you? Oh.
Hello, is that the...
The tea service.
Yeah, is that the obesity Somebody rang a dinner bell at the mention of bigger people. Ironic.
Well, Frank, it's funny you should say that.
Well,
because I found I'm afraid we're not in size Zerosville anymore. I've gained a few pounds.
Oh,
Not
God,
a massive amount.
I'm getting tense that we're going to discuss this.
Me too.
Okay, it's not a massive amount.
No, of course
It's a small
not.
amount. It's to do with I have been holidaying rather a lot recently. And I do like, I indulge when I'm on the continent. Frank,
Well,
stop it.
No, that's fair
And
enough.
overeat.
Yeah.
I'll let him get away with these ones. Early doors
Yeah.
still. So, I have gained a bit in there. It's all gone a bit Jules Holland.
Oh,
Should we
no.
put it like that?
How's it really?
Can I tell you how I know that?
I haven't noticed. Can I? Let's get that in early. Oh,
Well done.
And relax.
Very well done.
No, okay.
Can I tell you how I know this?
Scales?
No.
Oh, okay.
Don't keep them in the house. I have proof of this. Because earlier this summer, I thought I'll get in shape for the summer. Said to my godson, I borrowed a pair of his jeans, and I thought if I can get into those by the end of the summer, I know I've lost weight, because he's like you, ectomorph, lovely and svelte.
Yes, well, I remember once making a resolution to get into my godson's jeans, and the whole family gathering went quiet.
Frank! Oh my God.
He was 35.
Anyway, so I'm afraid I went to try the jeans on again. I could barely get them on.
How old is your godson?
He's 17, Harvey.
Oh, he's going to be... He's slim. All this... The young boys
very
now,
skinny.
they keep on about the obesity epidemic, but the young boys are very thin.
Whip it thin.
Their trousers don't even stay right the way up. They're hanging down their behinds.
Ain't that a fact? Yeah.
So I went to try the jeans on. Couldn't even get them up. Couldn't get close to getting them on.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but, like I say, a teenage boy.
Well, I handed them back to him. I said, Harvey, I never quite made it, did I? He looked at them. He said, these are actually your jeans. They're not my jeans.
Oh.
Yes, I know.
Oh.
It was a terrible
Are they
moment.
from your childhood, though?
So, Frank, I'm seriously on a strict diet now. So I need some advice from the ectomorphs. What do you suggest?
Well, I find minor illness is... It's an absolute boon to weight loss.
Oh, yeah.
And also, it helps get me through a minor illness. If I get ill now, my first thought is, how many days will I not be eating? Because what the best thing to cure... If I was to make up my sick bed on an enormous scales, and I could watch the hand slowly going down, it would be perfect. It's a real incentive to me, that.
I mean, you're not a proper doctor, are you, if what you're recommending is a touch of the norovirus?
No. But a friend of mine said to me, I went to India, she said it was amazing, I got dysentery, I lost nearly a stone.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I meant it with the norovirus. We had a touch of the norovirus.
Bit of the noros?
Oh, flying out.
Oh, no.
No water retention, nothing. It was gone.
What if you'd been clowns? It would have just been glitter.
Quite pretty to look at.
Yeah, well.
The pan.
Other thing I do is bread. Bread's the murderer as far as getting... What I do, if I'm trying to lose weight now, I just butter the palms of my hands and eat the sandwich filling out of that. And it sounds grotesque, but it does work. Trust me on that one.
Yeah, I try and avoid a bit of bread. Very convenient, though, isn't it, bread?
It's handy.
You can see why it caught on. With
It's
the
good.
old
It's one of our,
sandwich.
it's good as wrapping for food. I find. Anyway, we'll come back to this because it's something that concerns. Apparently, according to statistics, it concerns a large part of the nation. If we can fight the obesity crisis on this programme, that'll make me very happy.
The obesity crisis.
Yeah,
duty as public
but first of all, let's sort out some travel, right? Because these people, with the aid of the mobile scooter and that, they can still get around. I haven't written them off.
This is Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Walk. Foo Fighters.
Perhaps that's a diet tip. They're just saying walk.
Yeah. Walk is a good...
Thank you very much. I'll bear that in mind.
Yeah.
Walk more. On the
Not in
subject,
those heels.
No.
on the subject of diet tips, Somebody's texted in £90 worth of meat for the price of £40 and nothing else would help lose weight. No carbs.
Well, surely you'd gain £90 for a start off.
It's not sustainable though. It's not
I
balanced.
can't
to not
keep
eat
that
some
going. I'm not
carbs.
David Hayes. I mean, I'm not. That's the trouble. I'm not aerobicising enough to work off that amount of meat.
What do
True.
lions do for carbs?
Different metabolisms though, haven't they? Surely they eat some grass with it or something.
Well, that's not carbs, is it?
The grass diet.
Where do they get, what, polenta, you think?
Maybe.
That's a good phone in for
Having
next week.
couscous
What's it
on the
text
side.
in?
Yeah.
What do lions do for
Lion
carbs?
carbohydrate, exactly, yeah. I could imagine a bit of polenta being mixed up in the den.
I think someone will text in with lions' bodies not needing carbohydrates. They get it all off lean meat. They get all their energy.
You can't be funny.
People recommend the caveman diet, but I don't like the idea of being on the caveman diet. Doesn't sound very me somehow.
I've experimented with the paleo diet. In fact, it's good. Just all you
He's
do
come out of the closet, the old dieter.
snack on fruit and nuts. It's not
Yeah,
really
but
diet.
I just couldn't find anywhere that sold dinosaur meat.
Well, I'm going a step further. I'm actually applying most of their moral codes to my life as well.
Oh, no.
My wife's not a massive fan.
No. Well, the hair must be coming out in handfuls.
Keep putting her over my shoulder and running around the local area with her.
As long as you keep it local, I think. In the north, they're a bit more tolerant.
In the north, everyone's on the paleo lifestyle.
Kate Middleton, as we used to call her. It seems like only yesterday.
Yeah.
She apparently has only blueberries for
Is that
breakfast. And then for lunch, she has steam. And then dinner, she has a plain salad described to her by a lady in waiting, and she absorbs it only through her imagination.
That sounds like my dream diet. I'm doing it now.
Yeah, and I have to say, it's fallen off her, the weight.
It has.
Oh, I'd be hungry though. I'd be hungry.
I think she's too busy. I don't think you'd be hungry if you was married to Prince William, would you? It wouldn't seem right to be hungry.
I don't think he'd sate me.
You don't think so?
I'm prepared to say it.
Extraordinary conversation.
Someone else just texted in, cut out bread and no carbs in the day, lost a stone in 4 weeks. Again, it's not sustainable.
Yeah, but don't do it the David Baddiel way.
Yeah, I went out for lunch once with David Baddiel. He had mashed potato and then he had a pudding. I said, what happened to the Atkins diet? He said, I don't go on it till 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Great.
It was an interesting... He looked well on it.
Nice felt. Frank, defenestrate, to throw someone out of a window.
Ah.
That's word for the day.
But what does defenestrate mean in its original? Isn't it? It doesn't have a normal meaning.
I don't know.
I think it...
Is it like exfoliate?
No, I think defenestrate came from... I think there was some Czechoslovakian thing where they were throwing people out of windows. It originated. And then somebody else told me that it came from the French de fenêtre. I don't speak French, but that's just something I'm
Well, I know
repeating as
it's
if
French
true.
for window, yeah.
Oh, right, I
but
didn't
even... No, really?
Very difficult to get defenestrate into an everyday conversation, though. I like the
Well,
idea
I don't
of
know. Not if
trying
you're a
it.
rock star on tour. Where's the television gone? Oh, sorry. I defenestrated it.
I think it means a person, to throw a person out of a window.
Surely anything out of a window.
No, I think someone can text us in and let us know this. I'm pretty sure it's a person. Because I like the idea of a potential pub fight. Look, lads, I don't want to have to defenestrate you. And then we're gonna have to go. This bloke's a ninja.
I wouldn't dare say that in a pub fight.
Also, just finally, Frank, we have got an update on the lion carb situation.
Oh, have we?
Jonathan in South
Lion
Woodford.
carbs or lion cobs?
The secondary function of protein is energy, so the gazelle meat or whatever is enough.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Jonathan in South Woodford, which is where I got the double tape deck from the charity shop. So, loser Jonathan got there first. Beat you to it. Beat you to the bargain.
Missed out on the Tom Lehrer
Tom Lehrer.
double cassette. Hey, eat your heart out.
Not so clever
Protein,
now.
Plenty of protein in that. So we move now towards the end of the show. The way the mighty glaciers moved across the British Isles all those years ago.
Before they bought Man United.
So, not the weekend podcast, which is completely different from this. We sit in a small studio and, hey, we just riff. You're with me?
Freewheeling.
That'll be available from Wednesday for downloading. It's downloaded. We're on something like 6 million so far this year.
Is that right, John?
Can you believe that? Thank you. Lovely that, wasn't it?
You welled up slightly.
Humility. I can just plot humility out of the air like that. Not everyone can.
I can't, for example.
No, I don't think. You won't have it in the house. Humility. Ben Jones is next. I'm slightly worried. I haven't seen him yet.
No.
Is it going to be a case that the next song will end and then there'll just be silence? Oh man.
He will know diet tips though, because he's buff.
I know, but I am worried he hasn't showed up yet. But I'm sure he'll be. You know, it's Ben. He's reliable pro and all that lot. But what if he's fallen? What if he's had one of his falls? Has anyone thought about that? No. Well, if we might be back after the news, the way it's going, and then I imagine they'll send out for DLT. Isla Sinclair, when we did a chat show, we had a letter from Isla Sinclair's agent that said Isla will do last minute and drive herself. So, if Ben doesn't turn up, all is well. Anyway, as they said in Tron, end of line.
This is Frank Skinner on
Absolute